What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home. First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing, my favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. It is Tuesday, November 28th, 2023, year of our Lord. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tapping in every single morning because you know we don't miss. You know we don't miss. We got a full show ahead of you guys today. Salute, Anton. Did you lock? I don't know what y'all talking about out in these streets. Yo. We in the building. You know what? I think it's going to be another one of those shows today. We in the building, ladies and gentlemen. What up? We here. I've been working hard. I've been running back and forth. I've been out and about throughout the city, so on and so forth this morning, and I've been out in these streets, man. What streets am I talking about? These YouTube streets, man. It's cold outside. It's cold out here in these streets. Did you guys get a chance to check out the live stream last night? It was a great live stream. We had a lot of fun. Did you guys get a chance to check out the live stream on Q show last night? Turn on the brightness a little bit on this joint. Did you guys get a chance to check out the live stream last night? It was a good live stream. If you haven't, make sure you go back and stream the live stream. We're going to get to it. First and foremost, let me see where y'all checking in from. Where y'all checking in from, ladies and gentlemen? What city y'all checking in from? I took a PTO today, too. Capital K. I ain't even going to cap. I took a PTO day today, too. It's cold outside here in Detroit. What city y'all checking in from? DMV? That's a whole area, though, Dunn. DMV, what you talking about? Baltimore, D.C.? Yeah, that freezy air ball had me on the flow. Atlanta, the DMV, Winston-Salem, Winston, Denver, cold in Denver, Dallas, Baltimore, Bronx, New York, Seattle, Grove City, Ohio, VA, Chattanooga, Nashville. What up, Nashville in the building? Biloxi. I'm going to Biloxi. Spokane, Rich, Apollon, Detroit, Grove City, Goonville, Austin, Broward County, Boogie Down. Let's see. HTX, Houston, Cleveland, Killeen, Chi-Town, Chattanooga, the A, Nashville, Greensboro, Hartford, Connecticut, Strong Island, Long Island. I hear you. It's 40s down there in Florida. The Bronx, Duluth, Winston-Salem, Tampa is chilly in Tampa too. London, 305, Indy, Morgan County, drowning in Chicago suburbs, OKC, Marlboro, Ghana, okay, Birmingham, Yonkers, Illinois, Be More in the house, Birmingham, Nebraska, Van Nuys, Rancho Cucamonga, New York and New Jersey, Atlanta, Columbus, Odessa, Texas, Pensacola, Duluth, Chicago, PGC and the DMV, Phoenix, DMV, ATL, Arizona, Huntsville, Cali, Memphis, Youngstown, Philly. What up? What up? What up to Whoopi Rock over there in the Netherlands, DC, Port of Spain in the building. Cincy, they says it's 10 degrees. Whew. Oh my God. Connecticut, Charlotte, Indianapolis, Novi, Naptown, Denver, Toronto, Hollywood, Dallas, LA, Hartford, Goonville. Okay, Atlanta, I see y'all. We out here in these streets. I guess it's cold all over the United States of America. What's the temperature? What's the temperature over there in Hawaii? Anybody know the temperature in Hawaii? Listen, it's so cold outside. I don't even want to wear my Rolex. I said I'm gonna just go ahead and roll with the regular joint. I just threw the Apple Watch on today. I said I'm not even gonna wear the Rolex because it's just it's different out here today. When these temperatures start to hit, it get a little bit different because you start to be really appreciative. That's how I know that people that live in warmer climates really don't really understand what it's like to actually be appreciative of what they have, because worst case scenario, they may be outside, but they not really outside. It's different when you don't have nowhere to go. What up, though, to Detroit? It's different when you don't have nowhere to go. Seriously, it is. And when you go outside and you see people walking down the street and you know that they don't have no real destination, which is one of the reasons why homelessness was one of my passion projects as I was evolving and coming up. And I did a lot of volunteer work with homeless people. It's crazy, man. It is, bro. It's not nothing to play with, but we gonna get there. We gonna get there. We definitely gonna get there. All right. So let's get it started, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna be in Florida towards the middle of December. So I'm going to be down in my home city of Miami, and we going to have some fun, and we going to get it in, and we going to have a great time. So I'm looking forward to that. More announcements, more changes, more evolutions, more platforms, and we definitely going to get to more money. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody in the building. Let me give an early shout out to my guy, as usual, Mike That Dude, out here on Cash App that's holding me down. Thank you to Mike That Dude for that continue to hold me down. I appreciate you, big dog. Also want to acknowledge a couple early super chatters. Freezy's airball had me on the flow. I could not stop laughing. I have no idea. I know it was like a serious moment, but Freezy's airball had me on the flow last night. That junk was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody that tuned into the show last night. Shout out to Rich Apollon. I appreciate you for the early super chat. I'm going to be reading them throughout the show. Also, Miss Coty Shetty came through with the fireball and said, listen, Anton, keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. I like what you do. You get me through my day. Miss Almond Eyes. I like Almond Eyes. Almond Eyes? You going to hypnotize me? All right, baby. Says, hey, y'all. Boop, boop, beep, beep. Shout out to Miss Almond Eyes in the building. I appreciate you for holding me down, love. Thank you for the early two ball and the super chat. I'll read those throughout the show. How about we go ahead and get started with the show? Y'all want to get down and dirty today? let's get down and dirty. Let's just get to it. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge our partner, Teej Hanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. If you have not gotten your Teej Hanley, which is also sponsoring not only the show, but is sponsoring a portion of the show, Quick Hits. And if you guys want to sponsor any portion of the show, make sure you email me at Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com, and we're going to get you taken care of. Also, on top of that, shout out to all of the bag chasers. We basically funded over $21,000 in funding for businesses to vet out whether or not you guys should get started and get it popping. Shout out to all of my new businesses, current businesses, and people that just needed me to believe in them. If you guys have been selected, we do have a list of you. Make sure that you read your emails and then send me your information so that we can send out all of the payments in the beginning of next month over to you guys electronically, because we have to have documentation in order to do things correctly. But I will be sending you guys your payments. Also, I want to give an acknowledgement to Renovation is in the building. Says, Anton, I'm 26. I currently made this channel and I make $22,000 in 27 days the first month making live bets. Would you recommend quitting my trucking job where I make $12,000 net a month working 16 hours a day for 6 days and pursue this full time? I have $70,000 in the bank. I do not recommend that you quit your regular job. I do not. First of all, I do not consider gambling a job. I don't. I understand that it's your hustle. I'm not necessarily advocating for you to do it. I think that if you have won, and if you have won a significant amount of money, I think that you need to get up and get out. But I know that you're not going to listen to me. I know for a fact. You know why? Because I've largely been considered my first. Well, no. Let me revise that. My third viral video, and it did like 1.7 million views within 6 months of dropping it, was high rolling. So I understand the sentiment and the mindset of a gambler. I've studied them. I've went to the meetings to document them. I understand them. And so because I know that you're not going to quit, and casinos and even online betting is not built upon winners. I know that you're going to continue to do what you're going to do, but I advocate that you absolutely positively do not quit your regular job. If you are bringing in $12,000 net, which means that you're grossing more than that, and then you're grossing well over $130,000, $140,000 a year, I think that you need to keep your job. Even if you just are successful for the rest of your life in this, then let that be your side. But I know that you're not going to quit, and I do advocate that you quit. And if you are ahead, then you really need to quit, because very few people get out with their shirt and can afford to continue to maintain this level of lifestyle. But I do not advocate that you quit your job. All right? Do not quit your job at all. At all. Okay? Listen to me, my friend. Do not quit your job. Thank you for contributing into the platform. Thank you, my friend, for continuing to hold me down. Stay tuning in. And how about we go ahead and get started with the show? All right, maybe I'll do one. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a show on gambling in a general sense to give people a real life understanding of what it's like. Or at the very least, I will do a segment on it, all right? So let's go ahead and get started. Again, make sure you get that Teej Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Additionally, let me make sure that I tap into the Patreon with you guys. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I am uploading the pitch series. You'll be able to skim through them. It is like 5.5, 6 hours long because I was a soldier on Sunday, hearing all of the pitches. I'm uploading that today. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with the show, ladies and gentlemen. This segment of the show is called Quick Hits. Quick Hits is where we break down different things that's happening throughout our society, but it doesn't necessarily warrant an entire segment dedicated to it. All right. So let's get into it. Let's dive into it. And I want to bring some of these people to the front of the congregation. First and foremost, Tiffany Haddish. Now, Tiffany Haddish, about 3 days ago, was arrested out there in California, I believe for the second or the third time for drunk driving. Let me bring you up to speed of what's happening with Tiffany.
We do have some breaking news for you right now. We're learning that actress and comedian Tiffany Haddish has been arrested on suspicion of DUI. Beverly Hills police tell us Haddish was taken into custody around 5:45 this morning. Officers say they found her stopped at the intersection of Beverly Drive and Dayton Way. She's expected to be released in the next few hours. And we actually spoke to Haddish yesterday at a Thanksgiving event at the Laugh Factory. This is the second time that she's been taken into DUI. The first time she was arrested near Atlanta in January of 2022.
So this is the second time. I thought it was the first time. I thought it was the third time possibly, but it's definitely the second time. And she's basically saying that following her arrest, that she needs to get some help, and this will never ever happen again. So she's basically was found asleep in her car. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but as long as you are behind the wheel of a vehicle, then you can be arrested for drunk driving. Some people debate this. They say that you have to have the car turned on. I say no. I say don't even put yourself in a position and just catch an Uber. Catch an Uber. They said that she was found asleep in her car, which witnesses said was stopped in the middle of the road. Now, you know you toe down. Listen, you was lucky not to even get hit or kill somebody, but you were stopped in the middle of the road. So, okay, either your car had that start-stop feature where basically you hit the brake and then it stay in stop mode and then hopefully you don't put your foot back on the gas or something like that, or you put it in park and you just stopped in the middle of the road in order to just completely go to sleep. She said she had spent a long Thanksgiving day that had started with feeding underprivileged people at the Laugh Factory and then delivered a holiday special set at the venue's 43rd annual free feast for locals. Later that day, she shared a video of herself singing and dancing along to the yacht rock band Yachtly Crew during the performance at the El Rey Theater. Her arrest, she told reporters that her Tesla parked itself when she dozed off, but was blocking a portion of the street. Thank God for Tesla. Tesla gets so much flack about their technology and how they forward and all of that. What if Tesla actually saved somebody's life? What if Tesla saved her life and somebody else's life? She said her Tesla parked itself when she was dozed off, but was blocking a portion of the street. She says, I'm going to get some help so I can learn balance and boundaries. No, ma'am, you just need to stay away from the drinks altogether. Stay away from the spirits. She says she was in good spirits following the arrest and complimented the Beverly Hills Police Department for their professionalism and how they handled the situation. Police confirmed to ET that the 43-year-old comedian was cited by police officers on Friday, November 24th. Witnesses allegedly observed Haddish's car stopped in the middle of Beverly Hills Drive or Beverly Drive with her appearing to be asleep at the wheel. The Beverly Hills Police Department responded to the call and upon arriving at the scene proceeded to arrest her for suspicion of driving under the influence. Haddish was released several hours after her arrest. The incident marks Haddish's second DUI arrest, with the first occurring on January 2022. And at that time, she was arrested in Atlanta after officers responded to a report of someone sleeping behind the wheel the same way. She faced charges of DUI and improper stopping on the road and eventually was released after posting bond of roughly $1,666. So you've been falling asleep behind a car. This is the second time that you did it. The second time that she's actually fell asleep behind the wheel. The first time that she was in Atlanta, and then the second time she was out there in California. So listen, y'all, nothing to play with. Thank God that you had a Tesla. I don't understand why y'all don't just call a ride share. Get the ride share, get back to the crib. If you know you're going to be out drinking, don't even take your car in the first place. That way you ain't got to worry about it. So that's what's going on with Tiffany Haddish. Also, Young Thug's RICO trial, the gang trial started against him yesterday. Let me bring you guys up to speed on what's going on with that.
Tonight, opening statements finally getting underway today in the YSL RICO trial against rapper Young Thug and his 5 co-defendants. Prosecutors and defense attorneys addressing the jurors for the first time, describing some of the evidence that will be presented during the case. 11 Alive's Bobeth Yates was in court. And Bobeth, we're off to a slow start here.
That's exactly right, Jennifer. Jury selection took 11 months. And then today, after multiple objections from the defense attorneys, the state's opening statements were also delayed multiple hours.
The members and associates of YSL, they moved like a pack, with the defendant Jeffrey Williams as its head.
The state spent no time establishing rapper Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, as the leader of Young Slime Life. Williams and his 5 co-defendants have been charged with running a street gang, accused of wreaking havoc on the Cleveland Avenue neighborhood in southeast Atlanta.
Hold on. Let's back up for a minute. Let's look at these guys. Would you want to be running around and doing crime and getting arrested and on trial with a dude like this? Looking crazy out here in these streets?
Neighborhood in southeast Atlanta. And while Young Thug's attorney calls YSL a record label, prosecutors claim it is a gang connected with violent crimes and murders.
Their members commit crimes on behalf of the gang. They commit crimes such as armed robbery, hijacking, motor vehicle theft, theft by receiving, stolen firearms.
But some of the accusations raised during the state's opening statements resulted in objections.
And as I stated to you earlier, what I'm saying to you now, this is
Let me object to that statement, please, as burden shifting.
And after hours of delays to deal with the multiple objections
Well, Young Thug definitely looked like he eating good in prison, that's for sure.
from the defense, the state continued its opening statements with the use of rap lyrics from Young Thug's song titled Take It to Trial.
he tells you, as the evidence will show, take this to mother trial. I rep my life for real. For slimes, you know I kill.
Another situation of when keeping it real goes real wrong. Now, Anton specifically, I'm not an objection of him saying and feeling however it is that he wants to feel. I believe in the freedom of speech, but I also do not believe in the freedom from consequences. So if you rap about it and you do it for real, then we gonna really want you off the listen, I'm not of the free Young Thug camp. I'm not. Toy said that's stress weight. What the hell is stress weight? That mean you eat more? Because you just don't gain weight off of eating air. I guarantee you they don't gain weight off of eating air. All right? So maybe I'm stressed out, so I'm going to eat more or whatever, right? But I'm not of the free Young Thug camp. I believe that every person deserves the right to defend themselves. I believe in innocent until proven guilty. But if the evidence shows that he's guilty, I'm of the belief that you should be off the streets instead of out here in the streets terrorizing people. If they prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you were running a criminal enterprise that extorted, killed, murdered, and did all of the negative stuff that you could have possibly did in there, then I am of the belief that you should be locked up and you need to serve your time until the judge determines that it's time for you to get out. I'm not of the belief that you need to just keep it real and keep it free just because you black. I think that if you told on yourself, thank you for providing the evidence, and then they need to substantiate that evidence with real evidence, and then we need to go ahead and put you away because I don't believe in the culture continuing to ruin lives. All right, so that's what's going on with Young Thug. And then last but not least, Kim Kardashian. A lot of people hate Kim Kardashian. I don't, because I realize that Kim Kardashian is a bag chaser. Kim Kardashian is allegedly planning to take Skims public via a $4 billion IPO, an initial public offering. It is being reported that with the stock market always hungry for new investors and players, Kim Kardashian might be an ideal entry with her clothing brand Skims, who, by the way, is the official underwear partner for the NBA and the WNBA. All right, is reported to receive a recent valuation of over $4 billion. It said that the clothing line, co-founded in 2019, recently secured a $270 million funding with its latest fundraising round, resulting in a company valuation of approximately $4 billion. Skims has successfully raised about $670 million A company, Wellington Management, a company recognized for guiding firms through the process of going public, spearheaded the latest funding round. Additionally, Skims has appointed Andy Muir, recently associated with Nike, as its chief financial officer. The inclusion of a CFO is frequently indicative of an impending initial public offering, and investors are salivating at the possibility of Skims going public. Listen, it's a lot of things that you can say about Kim Kardashian, but you cannot say that she is not a phenomenal, and when I say a phenomenal marketer of brands, building them from scratch. And maybe her momager, deserves a lot of the credit too. But can you ever imagine the possibility of somebody going from creating and making y'all believe that they actually mistakenly released a tape with Ray J in which they shot multiple scenes, and it was proven that they did. She's came under so much scrutiny, and as she continues to move from man to man, monkey branch, and build her brand, she is always the last one left standing. She has created an entire brand in which all of her sisters and cousins and her mothers, all of them have become filthy rich and billionaires. Meanwhile, the only person that's been able to survive the Kardashian curse is Scott. And he's a drunk. It's crazy. You can say a lot of things about Kim, but the one thing that you can't say is she's not great at marketing herself, and she's leveraged a planned tape into becoming a multi-billionaire along with her and her sisters. Khloe don't even look the same no more. You know what I'm saying? Khloe don't even look the same no more. So, yeah, that's it for Quick Hits today, ladies and gentlemen. And let's go ahead and move over into the show and let's get it popping. Let me acknowledge this super chat really quickly. Tashayla says, is having a holiday sale 15% off on themed sets. Make sure y'all tap into Tashayla Bennett, Royalty Nails by _Queen. Royalty Nails by _Queen. Go over there, and then there's another underscore in there. Make sure that you guys go to her. Where are you located, Tashayla? Tell us where you located. Tashayla Bennett is having a 15% off holiday theme sale, theme sets. Make sure you go over to her Instagram and follow her. Tell her that Anton from AntonDaniels.com sent you, because I know she's great at what she does. Shout out to Tashayla. Leveraging a platform in order to create more visibility for yourself. I like that. All right, y'all ready to go ahead and get started with the show? So the first thing that I want to address is something that y'all asked me about yesterday. And again, this whole entire live stream is sponsored by Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Also, on top of that, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. A lot of people are asking me to speak about Fight Club because I have not been communicating as much as you guys would like me to, because you know that this is a brand that was essentially started by me, right? So This is Fight Club is a channel that was created based off of me trying to make sure that I help people to stay in a house. I think it was like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I created a channel called This is Fight Club, but it wasn't initially a channel. It was just me, and I didn't have this name. It was just me saying, and I was on a live stream, and I said, listen, y'all, I got a bad feeling about tonight. I think that you guys should stay in the house. I got a really bad feeling about something. Instead of you guys going out, how about you guys do a late night work session with me, right? And so I was on my Anton Daniels channel, and I created the work session. And I said, all right, I'm going to work late into the night. I usually work late into the night on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays on the weekends. I'm going to just do a live stream. You guys can come in and kick it with me, and we just going to have a good time. I'm going to let y'all get y'all thoughts off. And so, I threw my house coat on. I worked for a few hours, and we was popping, right? And then it was some people that were bag chasers like Brittany and Aaron and things like that. And I would look up, and they would still be in the back even after the stream had ended, and they was out there having a good time, and they was talking with each other all night long and stuff like that, right? And so I was like, yo, why y'all doing it back there when y'all could just do it online and just include everybody as a part of it? And even if I'm not on there, you guys could just have fun and just do it. And then it transferred into Brittany recommended that we do breakdowns when I was on Lapeef after the show and things like that on a Friday night, and we was using it for that. But they was still doing it on the Anton Daniels channel. And so I was letting them use my platform in order to stay in the house on the weekends instead of being out in these streets, having a conversation, letting them fight it out, and just having a good time. So basically, it was just like a little club. You know what I'm saying? It was like a club that we had all came together. And then when I started saying, now, you know me, I just be talking junk. And I said, well, you know, the first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. And so I would laugh about it, and everybody would laugh about it. And so it just kind of took on a theme of its own. Fast forward a couple months after that, I'm not on the platform. I'm knocked out. Actually, I was over in Miami. It's funny because I had flew down to Miami with my family, and I was getting up in the morning in order to make sure that I got out of there, and I had to take care of some business because I had to catch an early flight to go and take care of some business. I wake up and my platform is down. The Anton Daniels channel is completely killed, right? And so I'm like, what the heck is going on? And this is for a lot of people that don't know how Fight Club has started. I'm giving you a little bit of insight of how we came up with the platform and how things just organically turn into whatever it is, right? So obviously I had already went through this with the Lapeef Network, so I knew that I was already going to get the platform back. I wasn't tripping, but it was down for a few days. I think like 3 or 4 days, maybe 2 or 3 days tops. So I was going through the process. I was still uploading on the Millionaire Morning Show channel, and eventually I got the platform back. And so in order to make sure that it never happened to the Anton Daniels channel, again, because channels with a little bit more visibility and subscribers and stuff like that, they tend to, if you have something like Porn Bombed, which it had got Porn Bombed basically, and that's how they took the platform down, we were letting everybody up just based off of, hey, are you a good person? Cool, you can come up on the platform. And then somebody brought up there and then they bombed the platform, right? So that's how it went down. And YouTube basically had a zero tolerance policy for showing stuff like that. But obviously they realized that it wasn't anything that was a part of my fault. And so they gave me my platform back. I didn't have any problems. And so I decided to create its own platform. That way I could secure myself from it. And it had grown into its own brand. So we named it This Is Fight Club. I leveraged my visibility and I continued to promote it. It turned into an incredibly profitable platform, and it made a ton of money. And throughout the years, over the 2 years that we've had it, we've innovated the product to where, you know, we created a bounty system and stuff like that. And all of those, most of those ideas, I would say that 90-95% of the ideas came from people that were participating on a platform like Aaron and Brittany and things like that, right? And so, again, throughout the years, we've evolved it. We switched it over from being an all-night stream with no limits to just being with under 12 hours. We evolved it, and then we did a debate show on it, and that went pretty cool, but I didn't really care for it because it took up a lot of my time. We evolved it over into chopping it up into 3-hour segments as of recently, probably within the last few months, and that went well. And then we took me off of it and let it, turn into its own entity to where it had its own logo and stuff like that. And so it's evolved over the years. And then people ask me, well, Anton, why did you decide that you wanted to kill the platform? And this is the thing that we've come to today, right? So for multiple different reasons. The first reason is YouTube has changed. YouTube has changed significantly in that YouTube is now having a stricter policy on certain things and conversations that go past what they deem to be good for conversation and live streaming on their platform. And when I've observed different things that's happening to other content creators, even though it's not necessarily associated with me, it necessarily being on my platform could also affect what it is that I got going on over here also, right? And so that was the first red flag to me, is that I have to take a holistic look at things and look at things from a business perspective. And although a lot of people saying, oh man, Fight Club ain't the same that it used to be, we can't curse anymore, Anton is putting rules, I put those rules in place in order to protect the platform, because I know that if anything was to ever happen to it, you wouldn't have anything to say and you would just move over into the next content creator and nobody would ever care about it, right? And so I pay attention to things and I have to look at everything from a business perspective, because I am the person that then oversees and I have to pay people and I have to make sure that everybody get their paychecks at the end of the month. Regardless of what you think about it, I have to make sure that everybody get their paychecks. So as long as you stay a very, very, very small platform, you're not really affected. YouTube will let you do a lot of different things because they're not really paying attention to you. But as you continue to grow, you get more visibility. And then at the same time, that starts to become a lot more it affects the brand more than you know. Even to the point to where a lot of the monetization for that channel, majority of the videos were not monetized because I couldn't get them monetized because people refuse to do the right thing, and you cannot control people. And you say, hey guys, you guys can argue, you can cuss a little bit or whatever, but just don't threaten each other. And then people would go on there and they would do whatever it is that they want to do regardless. They would go on there, they would threaten each other, they would have separate live streams exposing each other and doxing each other and all of that. And then I would come in and say, hey guys, we need to evolve, we need to change, we need to be better. We need to be better. And you can't personally attack people. This is not what the platform was created for. It was created as a space for you to get out your energy, for us to have debates, differences of opinion. But I didn't create this for you guys to actually be trying to ruin each other's lives. I didn't. And so that was another red flag. The third red flag was it seemed as though it started to affect the people that was running the platform. Aaron largely never took a day off. He always was there. The people that supported the platform, Cheeky, Sway, Thanos, Brittany, all over the years, they've all been supportive in different things. But the reality is that my goal in the summertime, because I knew that by the end of the year, I would probably have to kill the platform. My goal in the summertime was to get all of my people that was a part of the platform that did have other platforms enough visibility to where they can carry the torch and continue to make money on their own. My goal was to, at the summertime, I took a holistic approach personally, and I had some conversations with some people internally, and my goal was to build up the platform enough to where other people like Aaron, like Thanos, like Cheeky, like Sway, whoever it is that then leapfrogged off of and branched off of all of the things that we created with Fight Club, for them to be able to have a sustainable platform to where they can make as much money as they want based off the amount of effort that they put in, but that I gave them the visibility using the platform in order for them to create a brand for themselves. I have to look at it from a business perspective, but I also need to plan for the future. So at some point, I started disappearing a little bit more. And then you've very rarely seen me on a platform because I wanted them to be able to have their own brand and for people to not be there just because of me. And they are. They're great at what they do. Aaron is great at what he does. Fatty is great at what he does. Jay Prince, you see him all the time now. Cheeky got his own channel. Thanos is over there doing his thing. Now, I can't help what happens after that, but you cannot say that I have not been or leverage my platforms or leverage what it is that I do in my time in order to create visibility for everybody else. You can't say that. Whatever happens at this point, everybody has the ability to fish and everybody can do whatever it is that they want to do. And whatever happens after that is on y'all. Several people leverage the platform to create their own, create more visibility and all that. So people have now the ability to be able to eat on YouTube, and it's dope. But at some point, you got to realize that something has ran its course. It cannot continue to go in its same iteration, and any watered down version of it will not be the same thing. It's not going to be the same thing. The last straw, because I planned on carrying it throughout the end of the year, was that somebody tried to bomb it again a couple weeks ago. No, last weekend. They tried to bomb it again. And so I woke up, I get phone calls all throughout the night. And the fact that I can't sleep on the weekends because I'm always on alert. And I always got to have my phone not on do not disturb, not on sleep mode, because I got to make sure that I'm available just in case something happened. People call me. And then I get a phone call, as usual, right in the middle of the night, thinking like 2 o'clock in the morning. Anton, the platform, they trying to take. I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. It's too taxing on me as a person. It's too taxing on the people that had to go without sleep for other people that don't care about the platform to try to use it that way. It's sad that we can't have anything that everybody can use just based off of integrity, and then I had to make a pivot and do things a little bit differently. So me and Aaron talked, and we came to the conclusion that it was best to kill the platform, and that the last show would be last Sunday. And so Videos that are currently available will be available probably for another few days. I will be taking that down, and then I will be repurposing the platform for something completely different that's going to be new in January of 2024. All right? So that's the story of why we decided to do away with and go into a different direction with Fight Club. It just was not worth it if you're looking at the long-term business prospects. And I think that it ran its course. I think that it did what it had to do. And, you know, it was good while it lasted. But you got to know, you have to know when to fold. You got to know when you won. You have to know when you won. And if you try to milk every single thing out of it, you're going to find yourself in a bad space as a result of it. So whatever Aaron decides to do with the name, he is more than welcome to do something with it if he decides to do so. But I have now evolved to where I have to move on to bigger and better things. God bless. I will not be doing any more panels outside of the panel that I do on Monday night. And that's it. It was good while it's lasted. We had a great run of over 2 years. We made a lot of money as a result of it. So many people ate. So many people was able to benefit as a result of it. I mean, we had months where Aaron and Brittany was busting down crazy money. And when I say crazy money, I mean 5 figures monthly. It was months where Aaron and Brittany was busting down 5 figures. That's a fact, though. It is a fact. Brittany made a ton of money. Aaron made a ton of money. They was getting it. They was killing it. They was killing it. I was transparent. You've never heard Brittany or Aaron or anybody that's ever worked for me ever complain about whether or not they got paid or whether or not they made the lion's share of the money. You never heard them ever say that I stiffed them. I always gave them access to the platform to look at the analytics, look at the numbers, look what was working. I gave them the lion's share of everything that they made. And so they got a lot of money. They made a lot of money. Hopefully they saved a lot of money. And then you got to move on, baby. You got to move on. So shout out to everybody that got a bag and shout out to everybody that bust down a bag. That is basically what happened with Fight Club. All right. I mean, they was cranking out some money. Money, and that's for real. So hopefully everybody can leverage their platform. I hope that everybody does the right thing going forward and that they don't let their platforms be turned into something that is going to be toxic or is going to prevent them from being successful as YouTubers going forward, all right? So that's what happened with Fight Club. It is no more. The platform will then change into something completely different. I can't wait to reveal that to you guys. And it's not going to be a group platform. I'm not bringing anybody else in. It's just going to be me doing something specific. And I think that it's going to be really, really great for the general public. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to try something new. All right. So that's what happened with Fight Club. Let me read a couple of the super chats and then we're going to go on from there. Next Level MF says, yo, Tom Dog, what about an award show remembering all the great moments and people? I just don't have the time. I genuinely do not have the time. I don't have the time. If y'all want to do that, then y'all need to get in touch with each other and do what y'all do on that. I'm going to read that super chat shortly, Randy. Y'all need to get with each other and deal with that, but I can't do it. Thank you for the super chat. Kung Fu Hustler says, is it okay to post video links in the chat? I have my comic book to promote. Yep, you can promote your comic book in the chat, Kung Fu Hustler. Go ahead and do your things. Only him, not everybody, only him because he asked and he sent the super chat. Thank you, my friend. Randy says, good morning, Anton. Just finished watching you on Hardly Initiated 50/50 Men Exposed episode. Yeah, they asked me to come on before I went on the Q show last night. I do not agree with this simping that these guys got going on, but I'm a deal with that. I'm going to deal with that on Wednesday, Randy. I'm holding that in. It's taking everything into me not to deal with it, not to address it immediately. But I think that there's a new wave of simping and Derek Jackson-esque type of people that are on the internet leading the men down a horrible, terrible path. And so I had to very politely address it, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently on Monday, and I'm going to really get into it, Randy. Yeah, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. Shout out to Randy. I appreciate you for the super chat. Also, Dick Duggar says, I want to be a part of the new one. Can I be down? Y'all don't even know what it is yet. You got to see what it is and wait till I reveal it in January, and then we're going to get it popping, all right? So let's go ahead and get into the show. When y'all gonna get out the news? When y'all gonna get out the news? All of my people in Illinois, when y'all gonna get out the news? Just curious. Why? Why do we have to do this? Until y'all get some control over y'all legislators and over y'all kids in the community out here doing things that's not best for the community, then we gonna go here. Until you guys get your community members together and you stop stealing, killing, and dealing, we gonna be here today. Chicago is literally the poster child for what's wrong with America. I already showed y'all over the weekend where they hit 14 people. Then yesterday, overnight, they hit 20 different people. Now I'm going to show you what the repercussions are of your transgressions. And for all of you that voted a certain way, and for all of you that was out here marching to Black Lives Matter, and all of you that advocated for open borders, and for you believing that you wasn't black if you voted for Biden, this is your city.
Right now at 4:30, we are still waiting to find out if charges will be filed against two men taken into custody in connection with the shooting of a Bedford Park police officer.
Happened early Sunday morning near a gas station in the 6800 block of Archer Road. That's where CBS 2 investigator Megan Hickey joins us live with the latest on the officer's condition tonight. Megan?
Right, Joe and Marie, I'm told the officer, who is a veteran with more than 15 years with the Bedford Park Police Department.
Hold on. Long hair don't care? Let me back up for a minute. Give me a second. Megan Hickey. Hey, somebody send me a DM or email, Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com, of Megan's. We don't discriminate over here. We don't believe in racism. I'm up here picking up my Aquapana Tuscany natural spring water in order to get a drink here and there, and I look up and I say, who is this milk of magnesia, tall glass of milk, snow hair? No, she's not a snow hair yet. She's still a snow bunny. Who is this snow bunny with this, what is that, a Montclair coat on? Long hair don't care flowing outside of her coat. We don't believe in racism and pandering over the black people over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. What we believe in is that everybody deserves an opportunity in order to prove themselves to be of great character. Who is Megan Hickey and where did she come from? Somebody get Megan in touch with me so I can interview her here on the Millionaire Morning Show to better help her to understand what's going on over in Chicago. We don't believe in discrimination. We believe that all people that God made can make it into the kingdom of heaven. All right? Let me get Megan back. Let me see what Megan got. I missed some of what she was saying.
With the latest on the officer's condition tonight. Megan?
Ooh, I see you, Megan. She knew she was going to be front page on the news of the Millionaire Morning Show. Okay, talk your talk, baby.
Right, Joe and Marie, I'm told the officer, who is a veteran with more than 15 years with the Bedford Park Police Department, had emergency surgery yesterday. At last check, he's still in the ICU, though he was shot several times.
Dude, Megan even got clothes on under there? Good job, Megan.
Told he's expected to make a full recovery.
You see how long they left the camera on her after that in order to switch over to the actual article? article, they left the camera on there for a long time. That's all I'm going to say. Look at how long after she get done talking.
He was shot several times. I'm told he's expected to make a full recovery. Police say around 3:40 a.m. on Sunday, officers responded to a car crash right by the police department and discovered a stolen gray BMW that had collided with a dumpster. The car had been reported stolen in a carjacking in Chicago. Police said surveillance video showed two men running into a wooded area behind this nearby Speedway gas station. Then the two men entered a car, and when officers moved in to investigate, one suspect pulled out a gun, shooting the officer multiple times.
Is this what y'all do? Y'all just shoot police officers now? Y'all do crime and then shoot police officers. Just want to be clear of what's going on in Chicago. Look at that.
Two adults were taken into custody and two guns were recovered at the scene.
I absolutely want to commend the responding officers who got...
Hold on, let me address something in the chat. Edna Lofton says you disrespect your family the way you talk about women. Really? You think so? Because they sexy. Look. You're not going to stop men from looking. You're not going to stop me from looking. What you going to do? What you going to do? My chick is out here living it. Let me see. Let me call her for a minute.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? I'm on a live stream. What you doing, baby girl?
Getting my nails done.
You getting your nails done?
I am.
How you feel this morning?
I feel good.
Do you ever feel like I disrespect you?
No.
You love the way I talk, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, baby. You enjoy your nail appointment, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome, baby.
Bye.
Bye. Seems like I could talk the way that I want to talk when I want to talk. Oh, you so disrespectful. According to who? Who you talking to, Clevis? Hold on, let me see something. One more phone call. Give me a second.
Hello. Hello.
Ooh, tell him I said assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam.
Boy, what? What you talking about?
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to give any details or anything like that. What did you just pick up this morning for yourself?
I don't want.
No, just give me just you ain't got to go into details. Just tell me what you picked up for yourself before you headed to the nail shop.
No, because it's gonna be too much information.
Just say it.
A car.
A new what?
A car.
You just picked up a new what?
A new car.
Okay, enjoy that, baby girl.
Bye.
Bye. Let me tell you something. Women are gorgeous. All of the women that are around me, whether they work for me or whether I lay next to them, are kept, ma'am. I'm going to need you to sit your dusty self down for 5 seconds and learn how to submit to greatness, all right? We don't move under duress. They don't worry about what it is that I got going on. Ain't nobody checking my location. They are out here moving in abundance. They are pampered, they are taken care of, and they work very hard for me. Let's be very clear. But all of the women in my life are taken care of. Let's be very, very clear. All right? So I'm going to need you guys. All of you ladies that's feeling salty, shh, 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 shh. Keep it quiet. Let me present to you the information so that we can get through this show without any kind of problems. And maybe one day you too can be under my covering. Because if you do, You will be very much taken care of. Do y'all see any women around me in any capacity complaining, whining, under duress, out here in the cold, shoveling snow, trying to figure out whether or not they're going to be cold at night? Rita is, all of these ladies, don't worry about what we got going on over here. I'm going to fix the community. All right, let's continue.
Got there quickly. We're able to put a tourniquet on that officer that likely saved his life, and we're able to get them to the hospital quickly.
National Fraternal Order of Police Vice President Joe Gamaldi tells us this officer is one of at least 335 officers shot in the line of duty across the country so far this year. According to the FOP's October 2023 report, that number surpasses the total for 2022 and is on track to surpass 2021, which, according to the FBI, was the deadliest year for officers since 1995.
It is completely historic. It's unprecedented. And we know why it's happening. The inflammatory rhetoric towards police officers.
Hold on one second, y'all.
Revolving door
I had to get a new key card.
Where criminals are no longer held accountable for their actions.
Again, we're still waiting for charges to be approved in this case. Bedford Park police tell me they are currently in contact with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. Coming up at 6, we'll also dig into how Illinois stacks up when it comes to line of duty deaths, the rise of line of duty deaths across the country.
So nobody's trying to break in. Anton had to get another key card. Officers are being shot. Now, I'm going to present this to you because this literally was dropped over the last few minutes. Officers being shot in Chicago. Let's continue. Let me switch over for a minute. Meanwhile, this is what's happening inside of your stores over in Chicago.
It's a disturbing trend that we've seen over the past, really, few weeks.
Thanks for joining us at 9. I'm Dawn Hasbrook.
And I'm Anthony Ponce. 2 days in a row, groups of Venezuelan migrants were charged with burglaries in DuPage County.
Hey, Choco Taco.
Casey Cronus is live.
Dawn, I see you, Dawn, out there.
In Oak Brook tonight. Casey.
Hey, Anthony and Dawn, in both cases, the thieves were using devices to try and trick the store's security systems. Now, officials are investigating whether the incidents are connected. In a crowded Oak Brook shopping center, prosecutors say 2 men from Venezuela were caught stealing $750 in clothing from Macy's. When police tried to stop them, one of the men refused, trying to get away before he was brought to the ground.
So, when you look at this right here and you see the bruises on the face and the slits on the mouth, when you look at this, I'll look at that tomorrow, Bitcoin Brown. These are Venezuelan migrants that are getting their hands on devices to trick retailers and to prevent the devices that then cause for the stolen mechanisms to activate and alert the staff that things is going wrong inside of these stores. They're getting their hands on the devices, and then they're going into the stores now out in Chicago, the very same place that said that they was a sanctuary city and that these people didn't want anything other than to come in and figure out how it is that they can get their work visas, stay warm, flee from their country because the country is in turmoil. There are asylum seekers and all of this stuff. They're now getting their hands on devices. How? I have no idea. Where they getting them shipped to, how you getting accounts, what debit cards are you using, whatever, right? But look at these people. Look at them. Look at them on your screen. These are the people that are innocent, that are seeking asylum innocently, that is saying that they don't want to bother nobody, but they going into these places and they're stealing them blind. These are just some of them that got caught. Okay? But it gets better.
And handcuffed.
They went in with a foil-lined bag, which again is designed to defeat the theft detection system that is installed at the store.
One day earlier on Black Friday, 3 migrants, also from Venezuela, who've been living in Waukegan, allegedly took $500 worth of merchandise from Kohl's in Elmhurst.
Let me back up again. It's not just one set. It's multiple different sets of people. They got slits in their eyebrows. They got decent haircuts. They got bruises and stuff all around them. As women, as men, all ages, all shapes, all sizes. They are in these retailers in your area after they send their kids to school, stealing you blind. It's just a fact, though.
From Kohl's in Elmhurst.
King Brumman says they'll be back out in 3 to 6 months. No, I'll do you one better. Under Chicago's Safety Act, every last one of these people were released back to the streets. And most migrants that are arrested for crimes, especially some of the ones that's the most egregious, under Chicago's Safety Act, are released even though they identify their home as a tent or the airport, and most of them never show back up to court. That is a fact. Under Chicago's Safety Act, they are released immediately after being arrested back to the streets to do what they want to do. That's a fact, though. Didn't matter the amount that they stole. Didn't matter how bad the crime was. Yes, it was all put together, and it is designed for them to not have to hold them, feed them, house them, or prosecute them and send them back to their countries.
In that case, they were carrying a large magnet to thwart the store's anti-theft devices. All 5 people were arrested and charged, but DuPage County State's Attorney Robert Berlin says under the Safety Act, all but one of those offenders has been released.
I can't make this up. See, I'm not just making this up as I go. I'm telling you what's happening right up under your nose in your cities, where you advocate for the legislators that then craft the laws that then allow for this stuff to happen on a regular basis. I cannot make this stuff up. I'm telling you the real. Every last one of them have been released except for one up to this point under Chicago and Illinois' Safety Act. That's SAFE-T. That's a fact, though.
Judges have very limited discretion in detaining those defendants.
He tells us there have already been 3 cases where migrants have failed to appear in court.
And the difficulty in finding them is a real problem. In fact, in one of the cases, when the judge was issuing the warrant for the defendant's address, it said tent.
You still think I'm crazy? Do you still think I'm crazy? Or is this red-blooded white man right now? Because the Lord said where 2 or 3 were gathered in his name, there he is in the midst of us. You know what I'm saying? God said where 2 or 3 were gathered in his name. That's why you always need a witness. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, there he is in the midst of us. And so we're revealing to you the truth of what is happening out here in these streets. And you sit here and you continue to do the thing. You call me crazy, and then you advocate for change, and then this is what you get as a result of it.
Saturday wasn't the first time the Macy's here at Oakbrook Center has been hit in recent weeks. On Halloween, 2 Venezuelan migrants allegedly made off with more than $2,800 worth of merchandise before being caught a short time later. Reporting live in...
Don't worry about it. And then at the same time, we got the trifecta. So we got the police on one end getting beat up, shot, and put in a hospital. Veterans of the police department. On the other end, you got crime running rampant, and your legislators is advocating for and in passing acts that is then supported by us, the culture, to say that if you do a crime, you then are to be released immediately under the Safety Act with no bond and no address. And then on top of that, not only did they pass an irresponsible budget over there in Chicago, but this is happening.
A heated city bus is their only reprieve for just a few hours each night. Despite the promise of a large base camp and more shelters, single male and female migrants worry once again they'll still be the ones out on the street.
A biting winter wind shears right through the gaping holes of plastic draped together in the form of some sort of habitat. We tremble from the cold. I don't have anything. And yet for hundreds of men and women like him, Soltero says they're called singles, arriving alone from the border, the cold is inescapable. I would like to go back to Honduras because this didn't serve me in any way.
Oh, you thought that we were servants. I know it appeared to be that way, but we planned for you to get here around this time of the year when it's the coldest, and it ain't even hit February and January yet, right? You thought that we were supposed to serve you. I get it, Honduras. So now you want to go back home because you cold. See, that cold have you feeling a little bit differently. So when you see that, they don't call. I told you they call it the Windy City for a reason. And see, here's the difference. Let me fill you in on something. It's people that is from here, living here as citizens, and they were one paycheck away from losing everything. And guess what? They get no help. They don't get no tent city. They don't get no hot meal. They don't get nothing. You know what they got to do? Here in the United States of the Americas, they got to figure it out and they got to survive. And there are, before you got here, Julio, let me tell you something. Before you got here, Mr. Honduras, there were no buses pulling up in order to keep you warm at night. They didn't even have that. They didn't have no airport to sleep in because the security and the police officers was making sure that they got you up out of there because they didn't want to affect the tourism. Wasn't no safety act. I've known people to commit crimes just so they can stay warm and they can have something to eat at night. I've known people that were willing to catch misdemeanors and felonies on their record just to go to jail because it is that hard when you are out there on the streets with no help, no love, no loved ones, and ain't nobody checking for your well-being, and they stepping over you and they looking at you as nothing. But you came over here and you said that this does not serve me, and I am looking for a plane ticket at your American expense in order to get myself back to Honduras when we never asked for you to come over here in the first place. And the problem, see, this is the one benefit that you have over in Chicago. But see, the problem over there on the West Coast and why you have so many homeless camps over there on the West Coast is because they don't have this tender weather that we have over here. See, I say that we have all of the cities that are the coldest. The Minneapolis, the Chicagos, the Milwaukees. Don't come to Detroit. All of the ones that want to be sanctuary cities that are the coldest, those are the places that you have to come to. And if you can survive 3 winters in those places, then you should get a work visa. Because you need to go through what the people go through. You shouldn't get a handout talking about this does not serve me. Serve who? Serve you? Serve you. You can pay taxes for your entire life and go homeless and get no help up in this country. And you talking about serve you? Serve who? You?
I came here and I'm living worse than I did in my home country. Their best hope is hand warmer deliveries and wellness checks from volunteers like Lydia Wong.
The fact that there was not shelter space available
not
for
Detroit.
People who's in some districts have been waiting months, stuck there waiting. Families come and go, and single men, single women continue to be there.
Truckloads of gravel are starting to arrive at the lot at 38th in California to finally begin building the long-discussed winterized tent for a migrant base camp. According to the mayor's office, construction is being delayed in order to continue cleanup on the lot that has long been known to be polluted. A spokesperson for the mayor said in part, mitigation strategies are ongoing and anticipated for completion by the end of this week, weather permitting. The city is confident that the property will be suited for the purpose for which it is being used. Not far from there, this former CVS at 27th and Pulaski will be the site of yet another shelter.
The goal, hopefully it'll be up in the next 2 weeks and have a space and a place for people to be.
For these men, that likely means weeks more huddled on the sidewalk with the guarantee that asylum-seeking families get any free space first.
Asylum-seeking families get any free space first. Not homeless people on the streets. We have no idea what's happening to them. Not people that have no heat, cold, all of that. Asylum-seeking migrants, illegal immigrants, get first dibs. I wonder what y'all think about that. Think about that. Let that burn in your spirit. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to continue over with the show. My dog, Jay Ben, says Dr. Umar ain't going. F.A. Scrong. Let me tell you something, man. I don't believe that. I think that Dr. Umar will go with anything that scratch his back since he's King Kong consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Jay Ben. I appreciate you for the super chat. Bag for Bag in the building says, good morning, Anton. Did he just step down as chairman of Revolt TV? I would love your take on this. We'll review it tomorrow. Make sure you tuned into the Millionaire Morning Show. I got to do some research before I get my thoughts. Magnum Group Vibe Lounge says, I'm sorry, I just had to do it. Call him a pimp named Anton. Anton ain't no pimp. Anton is a man according to what the Bible defined a man to be. Standing strong in my principles and not letting any of these angry little hussies try to shame me into believing that I'm anything other than exactly what he ordained me to be. And this is what y'all should be too. We're going to talk about it on Wednesday though. Eric Harris is in the building, says she shouldn't have been talking shh. I agree. Out here in these streets. Bitcoin Brown says, it just came out that Diddy stepped down as chairman of Revolt. I know you saw this coming. I predicted it. Zach says Chicago about to have some cheap real estate soon. No, they ain't. They're going to continue to go up with inflation. Wealth Building Journey says we're clearly going to move towards martial law. Nope, we just going to let each other continue to kill each other. Black Beauty in the building says, AD, someone is pulling my Fight Club clips right now. Can you unarchive beyond the past 3 months for just a few days, please? Email me which episodes that you're looking for, and I'll see what I can do over there for you, Black Beauty. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's move over in with the show. Before we start to get into the money. Before we get into money, I want to bring to the front of the congregation this little boy that we all grew up watching. If you decided to catch an episode or so. This little boy that we all grew up watching, and from birth they name him Kane. T.I. had an album called King. And now, shout out to the Vibe Magnum Group Vibe Lounge in the building. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. And now we have created a monster because we crowned somebody a king without having to do anything to prove themselves worthy of the crown. We all thought that this little boy was the slow one of the group. We looked at him and we tried to figure out, why is this stepchild over here? Because he didn't look anything like T.I. when I first seen him, but I said, okay, he looked more like his mama than his daddy. That's your mama child. You look like your mama. And so when we was looking at him accordingly, on these shows and stuff like that, and we seen him, we said, well, he probably is the autistic one. He might be the slow one because he's still sucking on his pacifier. And so they just trying to make him comfortable throughout his life because we don't even know if he's going to be able to talk when he get older, right? And then he started talking. And we said, okay, so he not slow. I'll take that back. He not the autistic one. Right. Major is a smart one. I agree. So why they name him King? King? Because words mean things. Well, recently, he was at a Falcons game. And he decided that I want to disrespect my mother and father who have put me in a position to do this in the first place. 2 = 1, say get the belt. Don't worry about it. I got you. While we watching this, I'm going to go ahead and get the strap. Because let's be clear, we didn't call it a belt back in our day. My mother said, go get me the strap. I don't know where they got the word strap from, but for some reason it just stuck. Because when she said go get the strap, she wasn't talking about a gun, but it sounded like it when it went across your back. I bet you this little boy, this spoiled little monster, have never had a good old-fashioned strap a day in his life. Kane, I guarantee you, has never had a good old-fashioned He been arrested. Smoke weed. Talk to grown folks disrespectfully. Don't have no respect for his mama or his daddy. Let me tell you something. One thing is for sure and two things is for certain. We never disrespected our father or our mother. One thing is for sure. Two things is for certain. We never disrespected mama and daddy not one day of our life. Because that's what it sounded when it went across your back. Ah! Ah! Boy, if you don't be quiet. The only thing screaming did was allow for your neighbors to laugh at you because the neighbors heard you. Listen, on 20214 Green Lawn with 20216 and 20212, they all heard you. Ah! Ah! And then my neighbor gonna come over there talking about, did y'all hear that movie over there where somebody was dying on the TV? I said, well, nobody dying, nigga, that was me. That was me. I thought that I caught the ghost. It was hard out here in these streets. Woo! King. All right. Let's see what he had to say to his mother and father.
King, have you ever woke up with a roach on your face?
No, that's not the goal.
All right, then. Go.
Or in your ear.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I got in the neighborhood with me that broke up with roach in your ear. Y'all want to go to the bando in my neighborhood? Do y'all want to go to the bando? Do y'all want to go to the bando? To make him look better, he said it, he know not true. Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life. Nigga, you did have a silver spoon.
This boy said, I ain't never had a silver spoon in my mouth in my life. Boy, you grew up in a gated community on a TV show and your mother and your father was rich. What are you talking about? He was live on his own live, Connie. It wasn't that nobody was filming it. He had it on a live and people was just recording it. You grew up in Bel Air. You was the real Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Boy, you supposed to be Carlton. If anybody grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth, it was Kane. He said, do you want to go and visit the bando? Oh, my God. Do you want to? He is talking to his mother and his father and saying, do you want to go and visit the bando? Y'all know what a bando is? It's an abandoned house or an abandoned spot. Often at times in Detroit, we called it bandos, but it was places that you did urban exploration in. But the bando was a place that was abandoned and had no owner, and most of the time they turned it into the trap. Now the trap is labeled as the trap because usually it's only one way in and one way out. It's one way, so it's a trap. Whether you getting the door kicked in from the police, or you getting the door kicked in because you getting robbed, or you getting the door kicked in because they set you up and that you gonna be meat for that moment. The bando is often at times the trap, and the trap is usually a death trap. That's why they call it the trap. You trapping out of it, but then it's a trap the other way if you get caught up in it, because something bad can happen while you're there. And this privileged child, 19-year-old child that is sitting there having a conversation with his mother and father saying that I ain't never been silver spooned, and do y'all want to go and visit the bando? Aw, little tink tink.
We used to have to come to my grandma's house because I'm getting in the fight.
You cried like a baby to go to your grandmama's house.
Every day.
You used to hold your breath.
Every
You
day.
tantrums to go over there.
I don't want to be in these gates. I want to be outside in the neighborhood. That's why I want to be over there.
I don't know anybody in my entire life that ever was actually raised in the hood or in the projects that wanted to be there. You would kill, steal, and destroy in order to get people. One of the reasons why drug dealers and people that poison a community, even though I still think it's toxic and you need to be held accountable, one of the reasons why they get such compassion from people is because they understand that you are willing to sell poison to your own people in order to get yourself up out of there. That's how bad it is. That you're willing to sell poison to your own people in order to put yourself in a better position as a result of it. You know how bad of an environment you got to live in order to be able to sell crack to your own mama? I know people that sold crack to their own mother. You know how bad you got to be down in order to sell dope to your own mother, to your own uncle? You know how bad you got to be down? That don't make it right, but people gave you compassion because they understand that the dire circumstances that you was in caused for you to do some things that you would normally never do, and it removed your humanity as a result of it. And this boy is sitting there, talking about how tough he is, even though he grew up literally with a silver spoon in his mouth. Ain't even supposed to be in a college, supposed to be studying, making something good out of his parents' money, that basically sold crack to their community in the form of the music that they produced and the stuff that they slung out to the people. You know how many people probably listened to your father's music and then consumed it and then crashed out as a result of it? He profited from it in order to pour it into you, and now you then are a disappointment as a result of it. Do you know how much negativity your daddy sold to his community in order to fund your lifestyle, little tink tink?
But they don't understand that.
Yo, I'm going to tell you the reason why he want to be over there. Y'all ready? Because he can suck and pacify over there. He was 12 years old.
This boy had a pacifier in his mouth, according to his mama. Now, they in a private box at the Falcons game. They're in a private box at the Falcons game. And this boy was on a passy. He wanted his passy until he was 12 years old. Bro, when I was 11, 12 years old, I was getting boxed. That was when I lost my virginity. When he was 12, and that's nothing to brag about, because if I could do it differently, I would. But when he was 12, he was still asking for his passy. When we was 12, we was out here with the wolves and trying to figure out what the streets was like. When he was 12, he was asking for his passy. And when we was 12, we was trying to figure out how to get through these streets. That's a fact, though. Boy, you 12. Still asking for your pacifier, talking about how you was in the streets?
He was sucking pacifier. He was 12 years old. He couldn't do that in the house.
He cried like a baby. Hold his breath.
Yeah.
They try to say I was over there trying to suck a passy, but they ain't gonna tell you everything. Like that, they're trying to hide it.
Ain't nobody hiding it.
He capping. He capping. Hey, he know I stand on business. He know that. Ain't no nigga ever pulled my car ever in life. I stand on business. You drop me somewhere, I stand on business.
I'm just curious, y'all. In what hood in America can you drop Tink Tink down here? That's right here. This little one right here. At what hood in America are you dropping Tink Tink right here? LA, South side of Chicago, East side, 7 Mile, Detroit, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, New York, the Bronx, Overtown down in Miami, Houston. At what hood? I'm honest, I'm genuinely asking a question. In what hood in the United States of America can you drop Tink Tink off in to where this dude is not food? To where he not food. I mean, they see him and they like, oh, dog. Dog, the first thing they gonna notice is that you're a little Tink Tink. Second thing they gonna say is, oh man, we don't even care about him, but we gonna put him up. We gonna look at him as food because of his daddy. Because of his father. Bro, no matter what hood you go to, you are meat. They don't look at you and say, oh man, we need to walk away from him or whatever. Nobody is scared of Tink Tink. We watched you grow up on T.I. and Tiny's Family Hustle. And here's the key about it. You don't have to be tough because you never had to be tough in the first place. Everybody that's tough never wanted to be tough. They were tough because they didn't have any choice in order to survive in their environment. If they had to do it differently, they would rather grow up where you are.
You drop me in your hood, I stand on business.
I don't feel like you stand on business.
Yeah. I've been stood on business. I've been stood on business. You want to hide it for the world, I'm going to put it out there for them to see. I wouldn't put up nowhere. You ain't had me put up nowhere. Like, you ain't had me behind the mansion. I was outside doing what I wanted to do.
You was behind that till you cried.
No, ain't got too much to drink. Done drunk too much. Drunk too much. Let's go. Now, get mad because we say the South ain't the suburbs. Then he want to talk about some other like this being sick. This being sick. No, I'm being real. You lying.
Calling your mother and father a liar to their face is disrespectful. Cursing in front of your mother and father is disrespectful. I cut out a large part of this afterwards because he basically got into a small tiff/tussle with T.I. and then they wound up, it wound up not being good for the internet, in my opinion. But the conclusion that we have to draw from this is that I'm not sure where we went wrong within our culture and our community to where we start befriending our children instead of being parents to them. I don't know where we started not giving them discipline. And even the ones that got a father in their life, he has every single advantage that a child, and I still call him a child because he's like a child in his mind. He has every single advantage that a child could have ever wanted in their life in order to be able to level up and really get to the bag. And he's fumbling it. And it's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. I think that it is disappointing. It is sad. It's messed up. It's messed up that you even want. What do he do? He not nice looking to where he can be a model. He not an influencer to where anybody is going to follow him and do whatever it is that he say. He not a rapper to where anybody can quote a lyric from him. He's not educated to where we can actually throw him in a business and then allow for it to thrive. I'm more sad than anything because, and I don't want to predict this. I do not wish them on want to wish this on them. But if they don't allow for this boy to crash out earlier rather than later, he is not going to get his mind right.
and he is going to find himself in a very, very, very dire and difficult situation because everybody don't play these type of games. And you can do that inside of the skybox with your mama and your daddy, but that's not going to be a good look for you, family. And so here's the thing. Here is my advice. If this ever gets over to Kane, shut up. Go to school, get educated. Take the thug off of you. Stop getting tattoos. Daddy need to stop smoking with you. You're not cool. You're not a rapper. You are a suburban kid. Go the way of Trump's children. Do something similarly to your brother, Major. You don't hear nothing from Major. You don't see no disrespect. You don't see none of that. He just living off of daddy's money, mommy and daddy's money, and he out here living his life and he having a good time. And if he doesn't, and I do not even want to say this out loud, but if he doesn't, I see a very, very, very terrible, unfortunate future for him later on down the line because they did not spare the rod, or they spared the rod and then they spoiled the child. Nobody believes you. We don't think that you're tough. You're not awesome. Ain't nobody necessarily checking for you. We don't think that you are the coolest kid on the block. We not afraid of you. And there is no hood that you could literally survive in to where anybody won't look at you as food. Seriously, man. Like, this is sad. And this is a similar situation for a lot of our youth in our society, in that he's just at the forefront of it. And Charleston White was absolutely right. If they would have checked this child and they would have checked this chin a long time ago, you quite possibly wouldn't be having this situation in the first place. All of these guys is growing up in these gated communities and these great neighborhoods, and they come from good environments, and they trying to be tough instead of learning how to articulate themselves more effectively. And then hopefully they can add some value into the community instead of living off of daddy's money. He's standing on business, though. Let me read some of these super chats. Magnum Group Vibes Lounge says, I'm staying in the lab until I see the folding chair signal in the sky. Shout out to you, fam. I appreciate you for supporting the platform. Anthony McDonald is in the building, says, if you are not a bag chaser, you are a step behind in life. Tap in, #GoBlue. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, y'all, as well as pinned to the top of the chat, I believe. Shout out to the Chasers. We gave over $21,000 to people that pitched their businesses inside of the Chasers over the weekend. It was absolutely awesome. I'm uploading that today. LeGarrette says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Facts. Next Level MF says, food, easy work. AL says, drop him off at 63rd and he's calling back ASAP. Nope, take his cell phone. J Ben says, if Clydesdale Grill don't move on somewhere, as if we didn't watch him grow from diapers to date, only business he stood on is embracing horse teeth with an F. Shout out to y'all. And why he can't get his veneers right? Anyways, let's move on with the show. So let's get to the money aspect of things, shall we? Let's get to the bag. I want to get to the bag. It's one company that I am not telling you what to do, and I think that you guys should always consult your advisors. I am not telling you what to do, but I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. One of my favorite companies is Microsoft, but another one of the companies that I am very much hedging more money every single day into is Amazon. Now, during certain parts of the pandemic, Amazon stock price was lower, especially late last year, which we increased our positions in, as bag chasers in this company. Amazon's stock price, I thought, was incredibly undervalued based off of the idea that they continue to invest in infrastructure. They're continuing to invest in Rivian as an electric vehicle maker so that they can leverage the platform in order to create more trucks, in order to lower costs. Their investment in artificial intelligence, which is much different than Microsoft's investment in artificial intelligence and how they're leveraging it, but every company is leveraging artificial intelligence. But I believe that Amazon is going to take over the world. Honestly. I see you, Swag G. Swag G says, I love Amazon. Do you love Amazon because of Amazon, the company, being a great company as far as it being great for you as a consumer, or do you love Amazon because you invested in the platform? It's a little bit different. I believe that Amazon is probably going to be on the upswing in their stock price and increasing in value over the next 5 to 10 years significantly based off of the strides that they're making in a lot of different areas in their life, including their strategic partnerships and artificial intelligence. Shout out to AL. I'm going to read that shortly. Amazon is literally taking over the world. They're literally right before your eyes, and they're not even hiding it. They're actually touting it. They're taking over the world. Let me give you an example.
More than 71 million shoppers are expected to grab deals on this Cyber Monday. And for online retailers like Amazon, that means it's one of the biggest shopping days of the entire year. And the company is preparing by using AI to manage the rush.
I'm going to get
Chris
there,
Van
Yaker.
Cleve got an exclusive look at Amazon's Robotics Research and Development Center, where it says the future of faster delivery is being built as we speak. And right now, as we speak, Chris Van Cleve is at an Amazon facility just outside of Phoenix. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. It is all about speed here, particularly on Cyber Monday. Think about this. Within 11 minutes of someone clicking buy on a same-day order, these robots spring to life and start processing that order. Amazon says that's an hour faster than other facilities, and it's the quickest turnaround company-wide in their history. And they say it wouldn't be possible without AI.
Long before Romney Barinas turns onto Deerfield Lane in Westboro, Massachusetts, outside Boston, AI software has analyzed the 160 or so locations he'll need to deliver the roughly 250 Amazon packages in the back of his all-electric Rivian van.
All-electric Rivian van. I am also invested in Rivian. I have a smaller stake of my brokerage account portfolio invested in Rivian, but Rivian is a strategic partner of Amazon that is also building their own trucks and SUVs. They're saying that they're probably going to become the next Jeep, right? But then at the same time, based off of its own off-road capabilities and it branding itself that way, but it's also have a strategic partnership and have some time that is now starting to bear fruit as far as the electric vans and the driving out of the costs, and also leveraging technology as far as electrification and not depending on fossil fuels or having to have the same maintenance costs associated with having internal combustion engines. And so a lot of people don't see the value in electric cars, but it is a lot of value, especially as it continues to roll out into manufacturers and then these technology companies. But a lot of people are saying that they didn't see the value in Rivian, but I absolutely long-term. You got to remember, every play that we make is a long-term play. Every play that we make is a long-term play. And so this very van, we ain't even got into the artificial intelligence yet. This very van and their strategic partnerships are starting to bear fruit. Let's continue.
The stops are plotted to create the most efficient route possible using mapping technology that updates in real time for issues like traffic or weather.
Do you kind of feel like you're driving Santa's sleigh?
Yeah, something like that.
Last Thanksgiving weekend, people shopped Amazon for hundreds of millions of items, prompting 20 million deliveries a day.
It's like our Super Bowl. We practice for it for months in advance.
Amazon VP Scott Hamilton.
Within 24 hours, that order being placed, that inventory is here on the floor, getting put into vans and out ready to go.
To do that, Amazon uses AI to forecast daily demand for more than 400 million products, which helps predict where in the world they'll likely be ordered from, so those items can be staged nearby, allowing for faster delivery. Just as delivery stations like this go from handling 60,000 packages a day to over 110,000 during the holidays.
They can scale up from 60,000 packages a day in one facility to over 110 because they're leveraging artificial intelligence to be able to not only plot the paths, but also use the robots that's then synced into the technology that comes along with the newer vans and allows for them to be successful going forward, while also sourcing out your jobs because they're now able to use predictive technology in order to figure out how to do things more efficiently without you.
Holidays.
How big a role in a day like Cyber Monday is
What's up, Q?
AI and automation?
AI will touch just about every piece of our supply chain.
Amazon Robotics Chief Technologist Ty Brady.
AI systems allow us to not only forecast the demand better, but allow us to move those goods inside our buildings even quicker.
The company says automation and AI have not limited hiring. Adding Amazon has created 700 new job types related to robotics alone.
If you don't think that this is going to, because let me tell you how this is a lie, right? Because a white lie is just as much of a lie as an outright lie, right? Because they're saying, well, this isn't eliminating jobs. That's them saying that they didn't lay anybody off. But Amazon is always, just like every other company, going to have natural attrition. Attrition meaning that people go off and they get other jobs. They go into other things. They come in, they work for Amazon for a little while. They may quit their jobs. They may get fired. And so what Amazon is doing is slowing hiring, which is then preventing them to have to replace the jobs because the jobs are naturally being replaced by robotics and artificial technology, right? When you have less repair facilities. Because jobs is not just directly tied to Amazon also. Jobs are tied to the suppliers and the people that depend on Amazon in order to continue to run their businesses. Whether you are a person that lists things on their website and then they replace you with an Amazon Prime product or a product that is made by Amazon specifically, whether they put a mom and pop store out of business, whether they then don't need this supplier anymore because they've figured out how to strategically minimize the amount of time and money and effort that they have to distribute over to you in order to do so, whether people quit the job that they have and then they then move on to something bigger and they don't have to replace you, they just move people over in order to be more efficient in what they do. Them saying that they didn't have to replace jobs, that they added jobs, mean that they added research and development, and then they added technology jobs, and often at times that comes in the form of software engineers. It comes from cloud engineers. It comes from a lot of different people, robotics, civil engineers, building facilities, so on and so forth, warehouses. A lot of these jobs are still replacing you. You just don't hear the layoffs specifically as it relates to this division because natural attrition then allows for them to then give you this feel-good story to say, oh, no. Artificial intelligence isn't laying people off. It's actually just helping them to do their job more efficiently. It's not. It's a white lie. It's not an outright lie. It's a white lie. Telling you.
But a Goldman Sachs report from March warns of significant disruption to the global labor market as automation has the potential to affect 300 million jobs.
When people hear AI, they start to worry that that's going to replace human workers.
I get that question quite a bit, but that's just not the way that I see it. We think of it as...
He didn't say it's not true. Listen to how he strategically talks. He didn't say that it's not true. He said, that's not the way that I see it. It's just like politicians. It's no different. He didn't say it's not true. He said, that's not the way that I see it. Meaning that it is true. He just chooses to look at it and communicate how it is that Amazon is leveraging AI technology differently in order to continue to sell it to you as the consumer, okay?
This beautiful ballet of people and machines working together in order to do a job, right? So we build our machines in order to allow people to do their jobs better.
That's the talking point. Whenever they ask you a question, say that, nope, we don't see it that way. What we see it as, we see them assisting you. We see them assisting you and helping you do your job more efficiently. It's not that you're being laid off. You're not being replaced. No, they're not going to lay you off. They're going to say, it's a beautiful ballet and an orchestra that's being put together of machine and human working side by side in order to make sure that the customer get their packages much quicker. Instead of it taking an hour from the time that you hit click and you make your order, now it only takes 11 seconds. And guess what? Now your back don't have to hurt anymore. Translation, they don't have to pay labor, and they don't have to worry about all of the healthcare costs that come along with you getting injured on the job. So they're saving money while also allowing you to be lazier, which then puts more revenue inside of their pocket and makes them much more successful.
Like using AI to spot damaged goods in boxes. This newly developed system, Sequoia, helps fulfillment centers identify and store inventory 75% faster while reducing order processing time by 25%, which on Cyber Monday means getting gifts to you faster than ever.
I kind of like to think about AI as like oxygen. You don't feel it, you don't see it. You know, it's what makes the magic happen.
Amazon expects people to order hundreds of millions of packages.
Q said, why I got a belt around my neck? Because I just got done talking about T.I. and King and why he needed a whooping. Let me pivot. But you can also do something else. And a lot of people are not really talking about this, but it's coming. Check out this commercial by Amazon.
Making one of the biggest purchases of your life can be simple, convenient, even quick, and from anywhere.
Yep, you are now able to purchase a vehicle on Amazon starting with Hyundai.
Amazon's new announcement starting next year. You can buy a new car on the website. Hyundai, the first brand. Elizabeth Schultze has the story. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning, George. That's right. Starting next year, Amazon says you will be able to put a new car into your shopping cart. It will be selling Hyundai cars on its platform. The company says that you will be able to search for the model, trim, color, and other features. And then you can buy it through your preferred payment method on Amazon and choose a time to either pick it up or have it delivered by your local dealership. So the dealer is still the end seller here, but this shows how automakers are trying to meet a growing number of customers who are shopping online for their cars.
The one thing that Elon Musk did that then put dealerships on their heels, and a lot of people are not really familiar with the auto industry, but I'm intimately familiar with the auto industry and all of its legs and all of its extensions, including the dealership network, right? And in the dealership network, for example, Cadillac offered buyouts to all of their dealers, expecting at least half of them to take the buyout. So basically, you either had the ability to be able to adopt and transition into the new version of what a dealership was, which included servicing and investing in electrification and hybrids and so on and so forth, or you had the ability to be able to opt out. A lot of people took the buyout. As far as the actual dealerships, a lot of dealerships took the buyout because now what manufacturers are trying to do is they're trying to adopt a similar model, but maybe not necessarily build it out the way that Tesla did it. But Tesla invented and then mastered the idea that you don't need a dealership in order to sell straight to the consumer. As a matter of fact, a lot of people love the fact that you can order online, have your vehicle picked up or delivered to you, and not have to deal with a dealership at all. At all. And so not having dealership markups. I recently went over to the dealership in order to check on a G63 G-Wagon. Dealership told me, oh, us over here, we doing $50,000 markups because there's a 2-year wait on the new G-Wagon. That's what they told me. It's a 2-year wait. So a lot of people don't like the dealership experience. They don't like pushy salesmen and all of that. And Amazon is now partnering with car manufacturers in order to sell direct to the customer, so you can set up your own financing. Go ahead and do your Klarna on your new Hyundai, and you can have it delivered to you after it coming off the boat or a manufacturing facility straight from the dealership. And so eventually they're going to stop building dealerships in order to then have natural attrition in order to sell direct to consumer. And the dealership would only be the service facility. But then you won't have to have as much service anymore because moving over into hybrids and electrification, you don't have oil, you don't have spark plugs, you don't have an internal combustion engine. And so only the natural cosmetic aspect of things, but you don't have to deal with anybody as far as really servicing your vehicle. And that's why they're trying to drive the cost out of the manufacturing in order to prevent them from passing the profits over into the dealership network, but you're going straight to the consumer. Everything at an accelerated pace, more than what your parents did, more than what your great-grandparents had, is being disrupted. The name of the industry that we're going into is not the tech industry, it's not the car industry, it's not the engineering fields, it's not any of that. The name of the game going into 2030, from now, we're about to be in 2024, all the way up in 2030. The name of the game is called disruption. The name of the game is called disruption. I'll go into it a little bit more in a second.
Part of this deal, Amazon says that its Alexa voice assistant will be built into new Hyundais, so you can ask it to play music or update your to-do list while you are driving. Amazon has already been easing into the auto business for years, offering digital showrooms and parts and accessories on its platform, and it is expected to expand to other brands beyond Hyundai in the future. Rebecca, no word yet on if these car purchases will qualify for Prime 2-day shipping.
And no telling whether you'll be able to use that QR code at the UPS store for a return.
Exactly.
Okay, Elizabeth, thank you so much.
Well, hey there, GMA.
So essentially what you're dealing with and what you see again is called disruption. Disruption is basically when an industry is being upended because the traditional way of doing things is no longer going to be the status quo, because people want faster, they want better, they want quicker, they want higher quality, they want it when they want it. And as long as you can fill a need, and this is one of the ways in which people really need to think about business in order to get rich. When you start in a business or you're trying to do something, don't think about a business from the perspective of, well, how can I do the same thing that everybody else is doing? Look at a current business model and then figure out how you can do it better than them in order to offer a service or a product over to your customers. And then that's the thing that's going to make you rich. If you're doing something better, and it doesn't matter whether you're in the service industry, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're selling a product, whether you're going direct to consumer, e-commerce, and corporate America, when you fill a void and you solve for a problem and then combine that with the idea of being able to innovate and use technology in order to do something quicker and better than the competition, you will become successful as a business owner. When you start your restaurants, UX the experience. Start to think about whether or not people can go in a certain way and how quickly they can get out. How you can minimize the mistakes by not having as many humans in the process, right? Some of the quality often at times fall off, and that's where people really don't understand it from a business perspective. Because if you go, for example, into a lot of these chain restaurants, they already ship the product pre-packaged, and so there is an industry that comes along with great service, but it's a lot more labor intensive. But basically what Amazon is doing is that they're streamlining the process and making it easier for the consumer while also pushing out the competition and then incentivizing you guys to do so because you like AI technology and you can't put the genie back into the bottle. So Amazon, I believe, is going to continue to take over the world. And since they are taking over in the world, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm continuing to increase my position in it. Let me read some of the super chats, and then I'm going to move over into the final segment of the show for you guys. Prince Elian says, if I acted like that and told my parents I'm standing on business, they respond with, so what you saying is you want to lay in your own grave. That's after they put that belt on you. Let me put this belt down because I'm out here being a whooping father right now. I don't want to be the whooping father when I'm talking about money. Shout out to Prince Elian. Thank you for supporting the platform. AL says he needs to be gangster and get an Invisalign grill. That's a fact, though. Shout out to the Invisaligns. Is Invisalign dope? I heard that Invisalign was dope. Cartez, yes. Think about it. Jonathan Anderson says Temu is taking over. Temu is taking over because it's cheap, not necessarily because it's innovative. Mr. Lot says, I literally made the choice over the weekend to pivot from data engineering to machine learning. I asked the question inside of the Patreon in case any chasers have insight. Shout out to Mr. Lot and all of my bag chasers. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Bitcoin Brown says Amazon also just announced 4 days ago they'll sell cars in 2024, and their first partnership is Hyundai, basically bypassing dealerships. Yep, you're absolutely right. Also says, I jumped the gun, Ton. I knew you would cover it. You know I'm going on all aspects of the money, right? So let's continue over with the show, reading super chats throughout the show. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We rocking. So considering all of this and that I think that King is corny. I think that the innovation behind what's going on out here in these streets and the fact that you don't know really how to make a play is corny. I also think that it's corny that Chicago won't bring their people to the front of the congregation and fix what they got going on within their city. The thing that we really need to be paying attention to and worrying about is our immediate problems that we have to solve for, combined with combined with the concern that we have for the long-term future. All right. I just read a report that said that over 60%, if you got 350 million people in here inside the United States of America that we can document, that means over 175 million at a 50% clip. And if you want to add an additional 10%, then that would be an additional 35 million people. So over 200, if my mental math is correct, forgive me if my mental math is not correct, over 230 million, wait, 165 million, 175 million combined with another 35 million. That's 210 million people. Over 210 million people in the United States of America, if you're just counting the entire population, right? 60% of people, it didn't say 60% of working adults, it says 60% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Shout out to J Ben. Now, I don't know if they want to modify that for the context, but basically over half of all people that are working inside of the United States of America, we know for a fact it's at least 175 million people, are living paycheck to paycheck. Nope, not 220. Not 220. 175 plus 35 is 180 plus 30, that's 210. 60% of 350 million people is 210 million people, not 220. I see y'all in the chat trying to help me with my mental math. I'm pretty sure about this one. I could be off because I'm a C student. 210. If you ever want to do mental math quickly, first you cut it in half. 175 million times 2 is 350. 175 times 2 is 350. All right. And then you want to do the 10, the additional 10. And if you want to do the additional 10, you just take a 0 off of it, right? So if you want to do 350, then you want to do 35. Take the 175, combine it with the 35, you got 210. All right? Real quick. How do I know? Used to be paying them tithes and offerings over to the church. 10%. 10%. If you take 1,000 and you give 100, 10% of 1,000 is 100. All right? If you want to take half and then you want to combine another 10% on top of it in order to get to 60%, you take the 35 and you combine it with the 175, and then that's when you get to 210. Just got to use your context clues, baby. Blues Clues in the building. But 60% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. All right? There's a woman that recently went viral for her rant about living paycheck to paycheck, and I think that she's a nurse.
I feel like my husband and I are doing everything right. We both have good jobs. I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. I work full-time. He works full-time. We just got paid this past Friday, right? We paid the mortgage. Bought some groceries. Put some gas in the car. And guys, it is Tuesday. And we have like $200 or $300 to last us until next Friday. Like, we don't live in a big house. We live in a little.
All right, let me back up for a minute, because it's a couple red flags with this video. All right? I have not seen it, but I'm definitely going to react to it. And I got a follow-up video basically of her doing an interview as far as giving a context behind this video. But number one, ladies and gentlemen, the first rule of manhood is you do not allow for your woman to cry on TikTok or the internet. The first rule of manhood, I don't care what is happening, do not, under any circumstances, you fix it, you figure it out, you come together, you have your come to Jesus moment, y'all lower your lifestyle, whatever you got to do. But the first thing that you do not do as a man is you do not have your woman out here crying on TikTok and the internet, going viral, talking about how y'all ain't got no money. I don't know if it's just a black culture thing. I don't know if it's just an Anton Daniels thing. I don't know if it's just my family and how we learn to have a conversation and to operate within the masculinity of our households, but under no circumstance do you get on the internet. I don't care if it's X, formerly known as Twitter. I don't care if it's Instagram. I don't care if it's TikTok, and certainly not YouTube. You do not get on the internet. Do not let your girl get on the internet and start talking about your financial situation in a negative way. That is bad. Under no circumstance do you do it. That's number one. Number two, the house didn't look that small to me. The house did not look that small to me. I don't know if it's just me, but let me rewind it just a little bit.
Like, we don't live in a big house. We live in a little...
I see big screen TVs. I see open plan concept. We don't even get to see the other parts of it. Lights on in the house that you're not even necessarily using. Looking like you got a full refrigerator. You paid all of your bills and you got some additional money to last you over into the next week. You winning. You winning. I'm not really sure. Am I off? Or have we become too... No. Just asking a question. Am I off? Or have we become too spoiled? Because first of all, nobody forced you to have children. Why do y'all think that you deserve anything other than the circumstances that you put yourself into? So you turned your camera on TikTok. You embarrassed your husband. You showed your big ass house that very few people can afford probably. You got a full refrigerator. All of your bills is paid and you have additional to last you over the next week. And you going viral for talking about how you can't afford to live. Okay, let me continue. And you got a good career. You a nurse. And both of y'all working full time and one person ain't laid off. Maybe I'm just coming from an environment where I was raised where it was a little bit different, but we gonna go.
Little ranch. It's 1,100 square feet. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. Us and our 2 kids.
Everybody got their own bedroom too. You know we have bunk beds. Don't worry about it. Let me see the rest of the video.
Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm in school full time. I work full time.
No, y'all want it to be equal.
He works more than full time. He works overtime every week.
Go get it. Hey, you know it's bad out here when the chicks ain't wearing no makeup and they get on TikTok and their hair is frizzy at the top.
I don't know what to do. I'm so stressed out. This isn't how it's supposed to be. You know, growing up we were told, you know, go to college, get a degree, work to support your family.
So what's the problem?
Here we are.
Okay. So she did an interview apparently adding context. And so she decided to put on her headband again, a new headband. So I want to see what she got to say about this.
Welcome back to the big weekend show. California Governor Gavin Newsom seems to think that rising cost of living, well, it's just one big conservative lie. He posted on X, quote, "Things you won't see on Fox News today. Prices for Thanksgiving are down from turkey to air travel." Yeah, well, Newsom may want to talk.
Hey, she look different with makeup, don't she? She look different with makeup, don't she? Now look at this woman right here. Look at this woman right here. Y'all be catfishing. What you look like when you taking them groceries inside of the house is much different than what you look like when he met you. What you look like when you was taking them groceries in the house is way different than you look like when he seen you inside of the restaurant for the first time, because you had on all of your makeup and you had your hair done and your highlights was done and you was in a good space and you didn't feel uncomfortable for having to go to work every day. If that's her, let me take a snapshot with my eyes. All right, I got it in my head. Let's go.
To this woman whose heartbreaking confession on TikTok is going viral, probably because it is hitting home for so many people. Let's watch.
I feel like...
Harpo, who that woman? Harpo, who is this woman right here? Look at the transition photo, the in-between photo. I'm just saying. I just want to make sure that we clear. Look at the transition photo. You see her right in the middle as the ghost of Casper, and then who she was versus what she's become. Y'all be expiring like a mug, don't y'all? Y'all be expiring like a mug.
Feel like my husband and I are doing everything right. We both have good jobs. I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. I work full-time. He works full-time.
We seen the video. Let's get over to her. I want to see.
We just got paid the last dozen until next Friday.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. We had a chance to interview her this morning,
and
she said a little bit more about her situation. Let's take a listen.
I just needed to vent in the moment. I needed to vent to my phone and just, I guess, get the words out of my brain with all the stress that I was feeling.
No, you didn't vent to your phone. You vented to a bunch of people on the internet instead of venting to your husband. Instead of going and talking to your husband or going and talking to somebody else or whatever like that, in real life, you vented on TikTok. And so now, here we go. Here we go. Winter is here. You wanted to emasculate your husband by talking about how y'all broke. Okay, cool.
Just glad that my voice was unintentionally, empowering to people to speak out and say, me too, and, share that we're all in the same situation with the economy and the price of groceries
Not the chasers.
And gas and just the struggle of middle-class America.
Alicia, she didn't want to get into politics. She said specifically, this is not political. Yeah. But I have to go back to that original TikTok video. She said 3 things. She paid the mortgage, housing market. She paid for food, price of groceries, inflation, and she paid for fuel, and they didn't have any money left. She said those 3 things.
Nope, that's not what she said. She said they had $200 to $300 to get to next week. She said they had $200 to $300 additional after paying all whatever bills that they had to get to next week. That's what she said. You're not going to finesse me, and you're not going to continue to try to tell me that something is off when it's not. I need to know what other habits that you have. I want to know where the rest of the money is. Listen, family, if you got a ranch, and you paid your mortgage, and somebody said that he's an accountant, and they said that she's a nurse, and she's going to school, that means that they make well over 6 figures together. They probably make close to 200,000 plus together. We're not really having a conversation based off of lifestyle. We're not really having a conversation based off of lifestyle. We're only having a conversation based off of what they tell you. I don't believe anything that a woman just says inherently without adding the additional context to it. You're not going to convince me that these people are not eating their food up. They got some bunch of student loans. They giving some money over to grandma. They spending a bunch of money on daycare. It's a bunch of other people. You're not going to convince me that these people are under duress. I'm sorry. I just don't feel sorry for you.
Things specifically, Gavin Newsom says it's a lie.
Right. Well, because the governor of California is making it political. And what folks like this woman don't want to hear is that things are actually better than what they are experiencing, especially when it comes to a wealthy governor from California. And this actually speaks to a larger problem that Democrats are seeing and they are experiencing, especially which is indicated through the polls, is that people feel like there's definitely a disconnect between the party and its treatment and its talk about the economy and what they are experiencing on a day-to-day basis. And it doesn't help when Democrats come back and they say, well, it's not that bad, because it's not that bad for him.
Joe,
I'm not going for it. I'm just not that going for it. I want to hear what Joe got to say.
I want to look at some polls here because I find them very interesting. There are 2 polls we're going to have here that break it down by generation. First this is what keeps people up at night, is what this says. I also make sure I get this right. Gen Z, 56% of Gen Z, I don't know why my voice cracked there, don't worry about it, say that finances keep them up at night. 51% of millennials say finances keep them up at night. That's more than half of the last 2 generations of Americans who say that just being able to pay for things, and a lot of these have college degrees.
Millennials, Gen Z, those are those who are 42 years old and younger. And that's what they're feeling at this point. And that's why when you see other polls showing that Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden among voters under 35, it's because they feel what every other demographic is feeling. The fact that inflation is choking them at this point. 2/3 of Americans right now, guys, can't afford one $500 emergency.
I believe his lifestyle is the problem for the most part. I believe that lifestyle is the problem for the most part. I do think that the government recklessly spends. I don't like the way that they've structured the budget. I don't like it that we support multiple wars. I don't like that these cities are allocating resources in order to help migrants instead of helping the people that's in the United States of America. I don't like the fact that the border was just open for people to come in. But the reality is, I think that for most people, is lifestyle. Everybody feel like they got to have a car that they finance, and everybody feels as though they got to go and show up and keep up with the Joneses. You got to go and take trips, BBLs, taking chicks out to these restaurants or whatever. Okay, well, then if everybody ain't got no money, then where's all of the money coming from? And why is the holiday season popping? Why everybody got Christmas presents under the tree and we got debt skyrocketing? Why everybody going out there and complaining about? Because when the money was flowing, when they was giving y'all all of them STEMI checks, I seen a whole lot of people talking about how they get into the bag. Now, this is saying over 210 million people is living paycheck to paycheck. Something got to give. To be continued tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I love you. I appreciate you. I think that you are the greatest audience on earth. Jay Ben says Toyota needs to do a direct to consumer so I can snag a Corolla. These dealers are on a good batch of drugs with the way that they pulling the markups out of the sky. I agree with you. I'm just not paying any more markups, bro. I'm not doing it. Ray Sean says no better time than now to become a chaser. No better time than now. Wealth Building Journey is in the building, says times 60% is a multiple of 20%. So divide by 5, then multiply the appropriate multiple in this case. 3 times 20. So 350 million divided by 5 equals 70 million times 3 is 210 million. So basically you doing it differently, right? So you're basically saying instead of doing 35 million at a 10% clip and then multiplying it times 6, you saying do 70 million at a 20% clip and do 7, 14, 21, so 210 million. Yeah, that works too. I got you. That makes sense. Yep. And for the people that don't understand the division aspect of it, when you want to multiply percentages, you just move the decimal place over 2 points. All right? You move the decimal place over 2 points. So if you want to do it on a calculator, if you want to times and you want to find a half of something, then if you want to find 50% of it, then you move the decimal point over from the 0 over 1 and then over another one and you multiply it times that. Okay? So for multiplication, you do the opposite. For division, you do the opposite of multiplication. That's the logic of it, right? Listen, I am a C student, but I was paying attention inside of math class, baby. Shout out to the Wealth Building Journey. I appreciate you. Rod Jones says, AD, some people are never satisfied. She's a win. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Bag for Bag says, tell baby to let me see them vehicles they riding in. Here's another way that you can do it from a math perspective. Whenever you want to do it in fractions, you multiply it by its reciprocal, right? So when you're doing division, you multiply it by its reciprocal. The reciprocal is the opposite of, right? So if you have 16, then 16 as a fraction is 16 over 1. And then if it's divided by 16, then you multiply it. You change the division sign over into a multiplication sign, and then you multiply it by its reciprocal. All right? And then the way in which you multiply. Do I need to do a math class out here in these streets in order for y'all to understand how to look at everything from a business perspective? Because I am a C. No, this is a fact. Lifetime C student, but I understand how to look at the numbers. You know what I'm saying? You start talking to me with these 3 and 4 syllable words, we might have a little bit of a problem. But if we want to get to the numbers, we can start looking at it from a business perspective. Understanding the equation doesn't help you to understand the logic behind why you're using it and why you're doing it. So when y'all learning stuff in math class, or when you're teaching your children, or they ask you to help with their homework, you have to be able to explain why you're multiplying it by its reciprocal, or why you're getting to the percentages, instead of just saying, hey, this is the way to do it, right? That's the way that I teach my daughter. Whenever we have a conversation or we're leveraging information in order to help her to understand why an equation makes sense, I'm explaining to her the why behind why she's getting to the answer that she's getting to. All right? No? All right, don't worry about it. AL says, my son got the same answer 210 M's. Your son is smart. Your son is smart. You smart. You smart. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Tomorrow we're going to dig into Diddy stepping down from Revolt. We're going to get into a lot of the other things that you guys are sending me into. As far as my email, if you got something that you want to talk about, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. And then in addition to that, tomorrow we're also having a Wednesday show, and I'm going to dig into all of this simping. I'm going to do all of this simping, all right? More information to come on what I'm repurposing the Fight Club platform into. So I'll be announcing that as we get into December. And it's been a great show. You guys are the greatest audience ever. And I'm glad that I can entertain you a little bit throughout your day and hopefully make the money process, or learning about where everything comes back down to the money, entertaining for you. But I do need you guys to do me one more favor. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. You guys are the greatest audience on the face of the earth. All right, let's get to this bag. Let's get this bread. No fumbling on a Tuesday. We going all the way into December, and we going to run it up. If you are a bag chaser and I told you that I was going to help you with your business, make sure you email me and check your email with the information, and then send it back based off of the email that you got, so that I can make sure that I fund y'all business. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.